Okay, well, if you and your partner continuously argue over the littlest issues, then you'll enjoy hearing from author Judith Wright. Inside her new book, The Heart of the Fight, you'll discover a few hidden gems around relationship ruckus. Having differences in opinion is a good thing. This morning, we discuss relationships from a guy's perspective, and the perfect job for that is our own Brian Teddemore.
So Judith, a lot of times when we talk about marriage, it's usually two ladies having a conversation. And so they threw me into the fire so we'd enter a guy into this whole conversation about marriage.
I'm glad for that. And I co-wrote this book with my husband, with the guys, so having those dynamics I think are great.
I have to start here from one place. I read the title of the book, The Heart of the Fight, and I thought to myself, I think you guys might have this all backwards. Because I thought marriage was supposed to be about love and caring and loving feelings.
Well, it is that, but love is messy. And if we're going to really get the dynamics of what's possible in a relationship, we can roll up our sleeves, get in there. Love isn't like those Hollywood romances and fairy tales and you just go off in the sunset. I mean, if you really want a relationship, it needs to be real and you need to be in it. So love isn't just the absence of conflict. Love means you do have conflict, that you get in there and fight things through and get closer through conflict.
So, let's go back a little bit then. So talking about when you're trying to find that perfect soulmate, I thought chemistry was really important.
No. Chemistry is not important. And if you believe in a soulmate, you're actually probably limiting the possibilities for a relationship. Yeah, chemistry is kind of fun. It's, it gets you attracted in that way, and it's a lovely thing, but it runs its course. It's a chemical reaction, and it inevitably dies, and then people think, oh, we've fallen out of love. And it's not that at all. Just the chemistry's lessened. Now it's time for you to have a different kind of relating where you really get to know one another. You're not just thinking with your hormones in your bodies, but you're actually learning about one another. If you really get to know someone, there's a different kind of really wonderful attraction that comes from that. And people are confused about what really makes a great relationship.
Well, let's do the big picture then.
Okay.
What is the heart of the fight?
The heart of the fight is getting to the heart of a relationship. So it's getting to your heart. It's getting to the heart of your partner. It's finding out what you both really yearn for deep in your hearts, what you care about, what you're feeling. And getting to what's underneath that conflict, that's where we get close. That really is the magic of fighting. If we can really learn how to fight well and get to what the hidden meaning underneath the fight and to that hidden underbelly that we have and share that, that's where love blossoms.
All right, so I have a question that I need to ask, and I would try to pre-qualify this, but I think I'll get myself into more trouble. Why do women talk so much about everything all the time?
Yeah, we're very verbal. You may have noticed that, huh? So my husband says that women are have verbal black belts in the martial arts and fighting, and it can be really overwhelming and flooding. And oftentimes men, in response to that, they're so flooded by that, then they shut down and stonewall and withhold, and then that escalates the woman, and then we've got this kind of crazy thing going on. But if you look at it underneath that, for all of us, men and women, we have these deeper yearnings. We yearn to be heard. We yearn to be seen. We yearn to be understood. We yearn to love and be loved, to touch and be touched. And a lot of that talking is just that hunger coming out, see me, feel me, get me. And we keep talking until we can get it, and sometimes we need to stop talking. There's other ways for us to express that. But that yearning underneath is very pure.
Well, what's the goal then in trying to have conflict? I mean, I think I kind of understand that, of course, we should love each other, and sometimes the feelings come really easy.
Yes.
But conflict doesn't always come at your own bid. It comes at its own timing. So how do we use that to enhance our marriage?
Well, one is to learn the rules of engagement, and those are really important. So it's being willing to get in the mess. Don't avoid conflict. Go for it. But be responsible with it. Some of the rules we use is that nobody gets more than 50% of the blame. So you can blame, but you're going to look at what could I have done differently. And each of you is 100% responsible for your own satisfaction and your own happiness. So that my husband can't make me happy. There's things he can do that pleases me, but it's up to me to find my own happiness and satisfaction, not just be dependent on him. And that's true for all relationships. When we really learn those rules of responsibility, there's 7 of them, but those 2 are really powerful.
So it's not possible to do 60-40 or 70-30?
Yeah, you can, but then come back and say, hey, I didn't take my full 50. No, it really isn't important yet. Because there's always something we could do. There's always another way we could have handled a situation, and it's important that we look at that.
Now, I know that you structured this book in a way to make it easier for people like me, who don't quite understand all this, to get through this and to understand what you're trying to share. But here's a question I have, though. Now, you and your husband, Bob, you've got 30 years of experience teaching and research researching this and working with professionals and other counselors. And so how can you possibly make this relatable to someone like myself?
Because it's simple, not easy, but it is simple. And we've learned, because I've worked with people in the very beginning of their relationship, I've worked with people through all stages of their relationship. We know now what it really takes. So there's 6 key skills. Yearning is one of them, to really get to what you yearn for deep underneath and be able to speak that. The rules of engagement, they're very practical. You can practice them, you can apply them, you can use them in your daily life. So we put it together in a way where it's user-friendly. Even you, Brian, we could all do this.
Thank you, Judith.
No.
Thank you for your faith. Now, look, I've got to add this question though, because, well, one of our other producers, he was a guy. He was reading through the book and he caught his attention. So maybe you can explain this for me, because it seems like probably it's going to be our most favorite part of the book as far as the male side of things. It says, get naked.
Yeah, it does. Get naked is part of that. And now, obviously, to get naked and really is, part of the joy of it, but get naked emotionally. Be able to let down your guard, just let that armor down and really allow your full truth to be there, your underbelly, your strengths and your weaknesses, your sense of humor, your tender feelings. Really be willing to be real, authentic, and revealed to one another. That's intimacy.
What's the big takeaway?
I think the big takeaway is, relationships, I think we have the purpose of them wrong. We think they're supposed to make us happy. And yes, they should give us some joyous moments. But the purpose of a relationship is to learn and grow and to become the very best people that we can become, and to empower that with our partner, to really have this be an amazing adventure of continual discovery. That's the excitement that's possible in relationships if we learn how to really use the skills well.
I hope your husband won't mind this, but this has been an awesome first date.
I kind of feel the same way, but I'll tell him that. We don't have any secrets, so I'll let him know this is a great first date.
Thank you, Judith.
Thanks,
It's
Brian.
nice to meet you.
Thanks so much.
Gosh, that was so interesting. Great job, Brian. Really enjoyed that. By the way, Judith Wright has appeared on 2020, Oprah, Good Morning America, and The Today Show. And now she's on Colorado and Company. Woo! Visit theheartofthefight.com to download a free chapter, order your book, and even take Judith's relationship quiz. It's really, really interesting.